Today's video is basics. Basics. I taught actually this in a class a couple weeks ago, and then I realized that my video on it, if I have a video on it, it's like super old and I can't even remember what the details are. So I'm going to teach you eyeshadow basics. This tutorial is going to work for everyone because it's teaching you how to place shadow based on your specific eye. This isn't like the be all end all rules. Obviously makeup is fun, you can do what you like. I always say like do what makes you feel best, but this is a really great starting point and it's applicable to just about everyone because it's gonna work for all eye shapes because it's geared to you. Okay, let's jump into it. So I do have a little bit of Candlelight Shadow Sense on my lids just as a base to cancel out the veins and redness in my lid. Starting with a shade that's a couple shades darker than my skin tone, but still quite on the light side. This is Natural Tan Shadow Sense. And I'm taking it on a small fluffy brush. This is an E25 brush. You can find it in my brush set. I'll link everything in the caption. Starting with this, and I'm putting this on the crease area. I don't like that term though, because if you look at your eye, your actual crease right here is a skin fold. For most people, when you open your eye, especially if you have hooded eyes, that crease area is just going to disappear with your eyes open. So it's more gonna be a transition or a frame. So I actually like to apply this with my eyes open and looking straight into my mirror. So I have my mirror down here, and this is gonna go right here as a frame. So it's technically right above that crease area to frame the eye, putting it here, and then I'm going to put it down here as well to give a nice frame to the eye. If you think of a picture on a wall inside of a picture frame, a frame takes up more space and it frames the picture. It holds everything into place. So then the rest of the colors that we're gonna put on the lid are gonna go within that border, within that frame, but the frame is gonna help make your eyes look a little bit bigger. So my go-to color is Natural Tan for this, but really any kind of mid-toned color would work. This whole tutorial that I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna do it with neutrals, but you could do it with any colors and just go within the shade range. So like pick a mid-tone and then a deeper and then a lighter, whatever, to make it that specific color if you want a different color for your look. But I'm going with Natural Tan. I'm going to take the product directly onto the brush off of the wand and then eyes open, and I'm applying it to that transition area, that frame area. So, and then I kind of close my eyes a little bit to blend it down lower, but the initial application is with eyes open facing the mirror. Can you see the difference in this eye to this eye? This eye is a lot of bright space, and what bright space does is it brings it forward. So it brings this whole area forward and it doesn't allow for dimension to be created. Right here, it's like contouring our eyes. The way that we contour our face, this is just a contour for the eye. It's giving it shape, it's giving it dimension, it's framing the eye. The way that you can know where to apply it on yourself, like I said, look into your mirror and apply it around the edge of your eye, but this is also right on my bone, on like my eyeball bone. What's that called? I don't know what that's called. Anyway, it's right there on the bone. That is the first step. You can see this is quite close to my natural skin tone, and so it's just giving that light frame and dimension to the eye, and I can really blend it out and blow it out and it's not gonna look too messy. So the next thing I'm gonna do is take a smaller version of that E25 brush. This is the E27. I'm gonna take a darker shade. So I'm gonna use Mocha Java because I don't want a lot of drama with this look. I'm going really basic and everyday, but you could use like a much deeper shade, like a deeper brown, but this is pretty still mid-tone, but it is darker than the Natural Tan that I used. So I'm gonna take it onto this smaller brush. This one is gonna go in the outer corner. So we are creating even more contour and depth to the eye. And what this is gonna do is make the eye look bigger and pull it outward. So it's gonna make it look more like a cat eye. Just going off of my own eye shape, I'm gonna create kind of like a V shape right on this outer edge. See, V shape right here on this outer edge. And then a little on the lower lash line. I'm not taking it all the way across. I'm just taking it, probably stopping at about like my pupil area. And then I am putting it on like the outer third of my lid as well. So you can see how that added just a little bit more dimension to my eye. The nice thing about these cream products, they're not going to create any fallout. I do still do my concealer after just to clean up any like mess that I might have made. It's nice to not have to worry about fallout. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to this E25 brush and I'm going to clean it off really quick with some Cinema Secrets. I'm going to do my lid color with this. Now when it comes to the lid color, personally I like something lighter to make my eyes pop and to keep them bright, but you could go with something more mid-tone or even darker if you want to go smoky. My kind of rule of thumb though is that I don't like this area right here, this like center and inner corner, to be darker than this outer corner area. So if I were going in with something darker on this inner corner, I would make sure that this color out here is a darker shade. Keep that in mind. That's kind of a rule of thumb. Again, there are no rules. Do what makes you happy, do what you like, but I do like to keep this area darker or the same as this inner area. I cleaned off the brush and I'm grabbing Sandstone Pearl Shimmer Shadow Scents. This is just a really light vanilla shade. It's nice and neutral. And I'm popping that on this the inner 2/3, and I'm patting it to help keep it more intensely pigmented so that it's that really nice and bright and shiny. So you can kind of see the depth in the color. Like I said, I'm keeping these colors very neutral, and I'm also keeping the technique quite neutral as well. Standard, it's basics. As long as you can understand this can be like a building block for whatever colors you want or to create more depth or more smokiness or kind of whatever, but this is the basics. So last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my E33 brush. This is another brush that's in my set. And I'm going to take a light shade, like an even lighter shade, I'm using Snow, and put that on the inner corners to help open the eyes and make them look more awake and more bright. So I'm taking it onto my brush, popping that on the inner corner. And voila. I'm not going to do liner and lashes in this video because that's a whole nother deep dive, but of course with eyeliner you could really pick any color that you wanted to do with this look. It would go with any color eyeliner. I usually like to just stick with plain old black, and then also this look is going to go really well with any lip color as well. So I'm going to hop off, I'm going to finish this eye, and I will be back to show you the finished results. Popping back in here, I did the other eye. I put my concealer on, and as I was blending it out, I was like, oh, I forgot to tell them this. So when I do my concealer, the reason I do it after, like I had said, is to help clean up. This is that same E25 brush that I was using. I cleaned it off and used it to blend out my concealer. So one thing I do is I like to take it upwards and create a nice sharpness along that lower edge. That's gonna help lift the eye and bring everything, it's like a facelift, but with makeup. A non-surgical facelift. So I do kind of use my concealer brush to clean up those edges a little bit. You can see how it cleaned up that edge really nicely. So I'm gonna go finish the rest of my face and I'll be right back to show you the finished look. Okay, so this is basically the finished look. I did everything except for liner, lashes, because that's a whole nother video. Okay, so this is the finished minus liner and lashes and lips. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. This is like my go-to everyday look. It's my go-to look when I don't know what to do. It's my go-to look when I want to take lip color pictures because it'll go with literally every single lip color. It's a really great starting point for anything that you want to build on top of it. And I just love it so much. It's like back to basics. This is it. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Everything will be linked in the caption so you can click here or here, depending on where you're watching, to shop, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!